Alright, so we have some early access for Guilty Gear Strive, and unfortunately I didn't really have the time or energy to stream with my time playing with the beta, but that didn't mean I didn't play as much as I could. I even got to play with some people I look up to, with all of us still figuring out the game. Outcomes were unpredictable, but we were all sure we were having fun, except maybe with that lobby. I'll get back to that later. Anyway, let me share with you some bits of info that'll help you set your expectations a bit, as I'm sure we're all excited to try out the incoming public beta of this game. Netcode is amazing! Also, please don't take this as a full review of the game. Clearly it's a beta and there's still a ton of stuff that's yet to be released, like my favorite character, Anji. This is what I've seen so far in the game in terms of how it's playing. I was mightily impressed with the online experience with the game. This may change when the lobbies are open to the public and servers are truly put to the test, but this, hands down, was the best online experience I've ever had with fighting games. The indicators on top are telling us how much lag there really is in the game and how many frames are being used as rollback. Note that it's not the same as delay-based netcode, as you'll see that Giovanna players pretty much do their combos without much issue. This is because rollback netcode makes constant delay rather than the floaty, spiky lag we experience with delay-based netcode. Even with the worst possible settings, I was able to play stably with players in America, which is on the other side of the world, and everyone was pretty much on the Japanese server. The best games I matched up with had maybe around 20 to 30 milliseconds of ping, where the worst would float at around 150 to 200 milliseconds. However, none of the games I played felt unplayable. Of course, there were still cases of some connections simply not going through where we simply can't match up, but when I got a game, it was great. Considering that network play isn't really all that great from where I'm from, this is a miracle. Rejoice, fighting game fans, rollback is here. I'm sure many avid players are either amazed or horrified by Axel's ability to stop time, and I've used a good amount of my time to figure out how far it goes and its limitations, so here's how it works. First, it needs to be charged, which needs 50% tension to do. Next, it needs to be activated by repeating the same command. You can cancel into this from either a normal or a special. It's really meant to be used like a unique type of Roman cancel. The regular cancel won't work for him since he blasts people away, making it impossible to do anything with the regular RC offensively. What happens on activation is something like Venom Web from Marvel vs. Capcom 1, where basically the entire stage is hit with the time stop attack. I called it an attack because A, it can be blocked, or B, dodged with invincibility frames. When you successfully hit the enemy with time stop, they can burst out of it or cancel their action with RC to guard. Much like how a player can't really do anything when they're being hit by a super or overdrive in the game, they'll just default to a frame where they're getting hurt and you can't use grab attacks because they're getting hurt. So how does one fight against it? There's actually a bit of startup before the move triggers, so it's possible to stop it if you're in his face. The other way is to simply wait it out, as the charge expires after maybe 7 seconds didn't really measure. It's unstoppable if done as part of a combo. So, powerful move? Yes. Broken? Maybe not. I'd argue not. Let's see how far the pros take it. While the netcode is hands down amazing, the thing everyone critiqued back in the last beta barely changed at all, and that's the lobby. It's as if the lobby is the price you pay for great netcode because you have to go through it for the good matches. Yeah, we can model ourselves as each character now, and that's great. You can even cosplay-esque, that's kinda cute. But who wants to cosplay their favorite character in 8-bit 3D? It's got some novelty, sure, but it's not really fun to look at after maybe 30 seconds. There doesn't appear to be other activities you can do as a bunch of avatars playing around in a 2D stage, so I'm not sure why they had to make matching up harder than it has to be. Their previous implementation of lobbies was already pretty great, particularly for GBVS and BB Tag. I'm really not sure why they decided to go with this and even dig their heels in on it. If they can maybe provide stations or the menu style matching to work properly, I would find this more tolerable. But ultimately, what makes any of this worth getting through is playing some enjoyable matches with people all over the world. Back in the previous beta, it felt like you can evaporate even Potemkin's life bar in maybe 3 combos or 2 overdrives. However, it feels like they've tweaked damage value so that the last half of the life bar is actually a lot tougher to finish than the first. fights feel long enough, satisfying to play, and don't feel like they're decided by some random lucky hits. With the exception of maybe overdrives, some still feel like they can deal ridiculous amounts of damage, but they're also very punishable and cost half a bar of meter, so maybe they feel like reasonable gambles, I guess. I think the cost is fair enough, and maybe we're all eating overdrives because we're still feeding out the game. But in general, damage is around the level of GBVS, and I think that's reasonable. The gut system is definitely kicking in a lot better on this build. Here's another issue that Arc System Works has decidedly stuck with: not putting Gatling back. In previous entries to the Guilty Gear series, it was possible to make all sorts of combo routes with your character normals, as most lighter moves can cancel into the stronger or heavier ones. This isn't the case anymore. While it's possible to do some combos, what you can combo with is very specific. Back then, it was possible to tap punch or a kick and begin a combo from there, but now those buttons are really more used as tools to either poke out of pressure or just link some very specific moves together. Gone are the days where you can improvise a combo so long as you can get a hit in. This also means you can't just keep waiting at your opponent until they eventually open up. Every move you commit will now have some form of risk to it. While we lose the ability to execute customized combos, I believe this makes for more constant, meaningful exchanges between players. This also lowers the skill floor for beginners to be able to capably play the game. This is definitely a brand new game from our beloved developers, where pretty much only the basics that you know from the game applies to it. Everyone except maybe Kai has enormous changes to how their attacks work and how they can form a strategy with it. Here's a few things that really change how the characters work. Axel doesn't have capture attacks or even a reversal attack, but can stop time. Chip doesn't have teleport, but his Alpha Blade kind of allows him to do that. He can go diagonally, and it seriously feels like he's always plus on it. Ramlethal is generally revamped. Maybe she kept like one overdrive. That's about it. Saul has a lunging overdrive, making him a threat even at a distance. Faust, well, actually Faust feels pretty similar to his past versions, except rather than funny, he's very creepy now. All of these returning characters still feel familiar enough, but you really can't use what you've learned about them from games before this one and expect it to work like how you want it to. That being said, for those of you who are afraid of getting into a fighting game because everyone would just destroy you or generally feel like you're playing a one-sided fight all the time, this is pretty much a game that aims to put everyone on even ground. Of course, those with experience with fighters will still have some advantage over those who don't, but getting to a level where you can fight evenly with older players is much more accessible than ever before. On top of that, this is the game that has demonstrated how much better an online fighting game experience can be with the application of rollback netcode. I cannot stress this enough. Night and day difference. Seriously. Now for beginners or more casual players, even the movesets are simplified and made more uniform to make it easy to explore other characters when you feel like it's time to change up your roster. And finally, the last reason everybody should try this game is that the game looks and sounds amazing. Character designs are beautiful, stages are impressive and well detailed, animations are crisp and easy to follow. Each BGM is a banger. While it's true that I'll continue to whine about the lobby, there's just too much good stuff going on for Guilty Gear Strive to pass up on. And this is just the online beta, there's a whole lot of the rest of the game to come, right? I have been a fan of Guilty Gear since the PS1A, and I continue to think that this gives the best experience in terms of fighting games, particularly for the anime genre. And so far, I'm happy with where they're taking this. I hope when the public beta is up, I'll see you guys online. Alright, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing this video. If you think the information here is useful enough, why not share it? Why not like it? In fact, if you want to see all of our other updates, you'll find it on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can see all of our other video content on this YouTube channel. And of course, everything we make will be found on RainRoofFiles.com. That's it for now. See you guys later. This has been Lentropy.